Alrighty, Ms. Whitaker here, and I want to go over the MSTAR that we took earlier this year in January. There's just 24 questions, but I want to go over the answers really fast in case you want to just check yourself. Just another way for you to prepare for the test next week. And I'm going to go really fast because it's Friday and it's after 5 right now, and I would like to go home and work in my garden or go see the Hunger Games or something. So I want to just go through the answers really fast. So number one says, which of the graphs below shows a proportional relationship? For a proportional relationship, what I'm looking for is go ahead and look for a table or make a table where you have your x values on one side and your y values on the others. When x is a -3, then y is 3. When x is a -2, then y is 2. When x is a -1, y is 1. When it's 0, it's 0. When x is 1, then we have a -1. When x is 2, we have a -2, and on and on. What I'm looking for in A, and it does look like it's a proportional, so I want to just double check. Proportional means I'm doing the same thing from x to the y. So here, I'm either adding 6 or I am multiplying by a -1. So does that work for either one of those work for this one? Adding 6 doesn't work, but multiplying by a -1 works. So multiplying by a -1, multiplying by a -1, multiplying by a -1. If I'm doing the same thing every time, then that is proportional. So A is my answer. You could set up these others, but just looking at it, I know that I'm not doing the same thing every time. Hopefully you're just going to get to a point where you can just identify a proportional relationship. But this is what we're really looking for, is that middle operation. Am I doing the same thing every time to the x to get to the y? So just keep that in mind when you're looking for proportionality. All right, on to number 2. On the number line, where would a -√18 be? Now notice that the negative is outside the radical symbol. So the answer is going to be negative. So I know it's not going to be A, and the others are negative. So I can only rule out A right there. So √18, don't know it. I do know √16, and I know the square root of 25. So I know it's between 4 and 5, but we are talking negative. So it's going to be between -5 and -4. D is your answer. Okay, next page. Let's go to number 3. All right, we have these cubic alphabet blocks, and we want to know the surface area. Surface area of all the surfaces. So if this is 9, then this is 9 and 9 and 9 and 9 and 9. Or we can just do 9 times 6. That's 54. Remember, this is length times width or side squared, either one. Just make sure you can find for the cube, that's going to be the same. It's going to be side squared. So 3 squared, 9 for the first one, and then so it's going to be 9 for all the others. Surface area of all the surfaces. All right, let's look at number 4. It says a circle with a diameter of 9 inches has a circumference of 9 pi. That's our formula for circumference. Which point on the yardstick represents an approximation of 9 pi? So 9 times 3.14, I know it's going to be 27 point something. All right, let's move on to number 5. What's the minimum amount? And I'm not sure why on this page this isn't showing up right here, but it is on yours. What is the minimum amount of wrapping paper needed to cover this jewelry box? All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the, first of all, wrapping paper is surface area. So I'm going to find the surface area of each individual side and then multiply those by 2, because I know there's one on the opposite side of that face for each one of those dimensions. So I know that this front dimension right here is 9 by 3 is 24 centimeters squared. It's not 2.7, 27. I know that this one over here is 12 centimeters squared, And then I know the top one is 9 by 4. If I look at the 9 down here at the bottom, 9 by 4. So this is 36 centimeters squared up here. So I know 36 times 2, 12 times 2, 27 times 2, because I know that there's an opposite side of each one of those that I can't see. And I got 20, 72, and 54. Add all those up, get 150. So A is my answer. That's how much paper I'm going to need. That's the minimum. Probably going to be some overlap, so you're probably going to need more than that, but that's the minimum amount. All right. All right, number 6. This is just interpreting a graph. So what was the cube's approximate temperature in degrees centigrade at 4 minutes? So we look at the minutes here, we look at the 4, we go up, and it's approximately right there. So 3 is the closest. So that's your answer for number 6. All right, number 7. Data contains 5 numbers. If each number in the data set is decreased by 3, how will the range be affected? Range is greatest minus the least. And if they all decrease by 3, the range will stay the same. And I had some students that came up with 5 numbers and then they decreased them all by 3, and yeah, they got the same. You do not have to do that, but if you want to be really extra careful, feel free. But remember, you have 4 hours. All right, number 8. What happened? Here we go. What happens to the area of a rectangle when a scale factor of 2 is applied? Here's where people were missing it. Only to the length. So if you have to, make up some numbers. Make up 1 by 2. So if I find the area of that, that's 2. But if I doubled just the length and had a 1 by 4, that's 4. So what happens? It's 2 times greater. Now remember, if I did both dimensions, it would be 2 squared. It would be 4 times greater, but I'm only doubling one of the dimensions. So if you have to, go ahead and make up some numbers and then manipulate the numbers and then solve to find your answer. All right, number 9. Nora wants to build a planner in the shape of an octagonal prism. The planner will not have a top. That's key. No top. So she's going to cut pieces of wood for the sides and the bottom. What shape should she cut? Well, octagonal is our base shape, so we're going to have 1 octagon. So A and D are out. And if I have an octagon, I know that's 8 sides, so I'm going to need 8 rectangles, so that's my answer. It's not C. Let's move on. Number 10, student collected monthly rainfall data for 2 cities. He wants to compare these data sets. Which of the graphs will help him the most? Now remember, we're comparing 2 cities. So as we peruse our graphs to choose from, graph A, I don't see 2 cities being compared there. Graph B, I can't tell the 2 different cities. Graph C, I can see city A, city B, and I can look at them side by side, and that's the one I'm going to choose. So let's choose C. All right, for number 10. Okay, number 11. Which of the following situation shows a proportional relationship? I remember it's going to be doing the same thing every time for a person. So for every person, I'm just multiplying by 10 every time. So C is my answer. All right, number 12. The number of red fish in a tank is half the number of blue fish. The total number of red and blue fish in the tank is less than 20. If B represents the number of blue fish in the tank and R is the number of red, which answer choice represents this situation? So number of red fish is half the number of blue. So R is half the number of blue. That would be this one right here. And the number, let's see, the total number is less than 20. So that's right there. So C is your answer. All right, number 13, a girl's daily grades in Texas history are listed below. Which of these makes the daily grades seem the highest? You're going to have to figure all these out. But I can tell you right now, actually you don't really have to, because the mode is 100, and I can't imagine any of these others being higher than that. So I'm going to go with the mode, because that's 100, and you can't get any higher. All right, number 14. A right triangle shown. Which of the following shows the current placement of the value of x? This is a right triangle. That is Pythagorean theorem. So 3 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 9 plus 36 equals c squared. Add those, you get 45. And then take the square root of 45, and that's going to give you c. I don't know square root of 45, but I know it's between 6 and 7, and I know it's closer to 7. And before I even look at the other graphs, I know that must be my answer. But I will look at the other graphs. Just to be sure. And it's all, there's one at 7, but I know it's not quite 7, because that would be square root of 49. So I know it's A for my answer. All right, number 15. What is the process for finding the volume of this figure? Well, it looks like if I'm looking for volume, I'm looking for the inside cubic units. So I'm going to do the volume of the rectangular prism, which is on the bottom, and then I'm going to do half of a cylinder on the top. So my answer is going to be A, which describes that process exactly. All right, number 16. Scale factor of 2 is applied to the length, width, and height of this triangular prism. So how much greater will the volume of the new triangular prism be? So it's going to be 2. The scale factor is 2, so that's my base. And then I'm going to cube it because I'm doing 3 different dimensions. When we did area, we squared it, whatever we were doing the scale factor. We squared it. So with volume, we talked about it briefly, but we're going to cube it, so it's going to be 8 times greater. This is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. All right, number 17. Which set of coordinates x, y is contained in the graph below? Just carefully look at each one, just to make sure that you're just testing to see if you know how to graph. Your answer is A. Look at all the other answer choices and rule them out. All right, number 18. What's the surface area of this triangular prism? Now you can do pH plus 2b. You can do that, or you could just do each of the individuals. So that's your formula, pH plus 2b. So perimeter of your base would be, let's see, I'm going to have to find, I'm going to have to find this base right here. Based on Pythagorean theorem, they gave me one of the legs and the hypotenuse, so you're going to have to find that. Go ahead and do that. Your answer is going to end up being 84 square inches. Yep, that's what you're going to have to do to get that other dimension. So 84 square inches. If you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to go in depth into that problem with you. All right, number 19, David's scores on 3 tests are 85, 75, and 86. What score on his 4th test would improve his average without changing the median? So keep that in mind. Median doesn't change, but would improve his average. So let's see, what's his median now? 85 is his median, so we're going to have to stick with, if we're adding another one, we have to stick with that 85, so it doesn't change the median. All right, number 20. During a sale, the first hat bought costs $12. Each additional hat costs half of the first. Which graph shows this? Just look at, okay, the number of hats, how much is it going to cost you? Just look at each individual graph and see which one proves that. So your answer will be B for number 20. All right, number 21, almost done. A plane flies 280 miles from airport A due west to airport B. So airport A, due west to airport B. So west is going to go this way, 280 to airport B. Then it flies due east, 700 miles to airport C. So we're going back this way, 700 to airport C. Which equation could show how far airport C is from airport A? So it's going to be 700 minus 280. The only one that shows that is C. And minus 280 is shown as a negative. So draw the picture. All right, number 22 says Marie bought a planter with square sides. The total surface area of the four sides is 36 square feet. She wants to decorate the planter with 2 diagonal strips of colored tape on each side. About how much tape to the nearest foot will she need? Now this is Pythagorean theorem. I'm looking for that. It says total surface area is on the four sides. On the four sides was 36, so each one was 9, so each one was 3 by 3, has square sides, so I know they're 3 by 3. I'm going to have to find out what the hypotenuse is, that's C, and then I'm going to do that twice, and then I'm going to do it 4 times total. If I do these twice, I do it 4 times, or I find one and do it 8 times, and you'll end up about how much, so I look like I'm rounding, so it's going to be about 34 feet of tape. Just don't forget we've got both sides, or 2 per side. Number 23, the following graph shows the total number of CD players sold each year at Max's Electronics. Use the graph to predict the year the store will sell approximately 15,000. So I'm going to use my line of best fit, which is approximately something like that. So 15,000 looks like it's going to be around 2014, and that's my answer. 15,000 is right here, so wherever that meets, that's your approximation. All right, number 24, which of the following pairs of figures has the same scale factor as the one below? So this looks like it's a scale factor of 1/2. If I'm going from ABC to DEF, my scale factor is 1/2 or 0.5. So I'm looking for the same scale factor of 1/2, and it looks like, excuse me, it's going to be letter A. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. This is 3. This is 4 across. That's 2. So that's exactly 1/2 as well. And I think that's it. All right, there you go. Those are your answers. If you need that, feel free to email me this weekend if you have any trouble getting in TMSDS. But you do need to be working. So good luck, and we've only got a few days left.